Hey everyone, I'm Jatin Jangal and today I'll give a presentation on the topic Interprocess Communication, Critical Section Problem and Solution to Critical Section Problem. So, the topics to be covered in this presentation are Interprocess Communication and Critical Section Problem, Solutions to the Critical Section Problem, and there will be some questions regarding these topics and there will be references. So, firstly, the topic is interprocess communication. Interprocess communication is the mechanism provided by the operating system that allows processes to communicate with each other. This communication could involve a process letting another process know that some event has occurred or the transferring of data from one process to another. So, the type of processes can be independent process and cooperating processes. The independent process cannot affect or be affected by the other processes executing in the system. Processes that doesn't share data with other processes is an independent process. Now, cooperating processes. They can affect or be affected by the other processes executing in the system. Any process that shares data with other processes is a cooperating process. Independent process will execute very efficiently in practice. There are many situations when cooperative nature can be utilized for increasing information sharing, computation speed up, modularity, and convenience. Now the models for interprocess communication system. There are two fundamental models of interprocess communication. First is shared memory and second is message passing. Shared memory. The shared memory in the shared memory model is the memory that can be simultaneously accessed by multiple processes. This shared memory region resides in the address space of the process creating the shared memory segment. Other processes that wish to communicate using this shared memory segment must attach it to their address space. Message passing allows multiple processes to read and write data to the message queue without being connected to each other. Messages are stored in a queue until their recipient receives them. Message queues are quite useful for interprocess communication and are used by most operating systems. Relatively slow communication than shared memory. Now, what is critical section problem? Each process has a segment of code called a critical section, in which the process may be changing common variables, updating the table, writing a file, and so on. In the critical section, only a single process can be executed. Other processes waiting to execute their critical section needs to wait until the current process completes its execution. No two processes are executing in the critical section at the same time. Rules followed by the process. There are some rules which are followed by the process to access critical sections. Each process must request permission to enter its critical section. Secondly, the section of code implementing this request is the entry section. Third, the critical section may be followed by an exit section. Fourth, the remaining code is the remainder section. Now, the solution to this critical section problem. There are multiple solutions. First is mutual exclusion. Out of a group of cooperating processes, only one process can be in critical section at a given point in time. Second is progress. If no process is executing in its critical section and some process wish to enter their critical section, then only those processes that are not executing in their remainder section can participate in the decision on which will enter its critical section next, and this section cannot be deleted. Third is bounding waiting. There exists a bound or limit on the number of times that other processes are allowed to enter the critical section after a process has made a request to enter its critical section and before that request is granted. Now, test your knowledge. Ask yourself whether you know about these questions or not. Here are some of the references that I took and which lead to the creation of this presentation. Thank you, and this presentation was made under the guidance of Mrs. Anita Mahajan ma'am.